Hello students. Today I am going to discuss with you accounting benefits of accounting standards. In the last recorded video I have explained you what is the meaning of accounting standards, what are the functions of accounting standards. Now let us see one by one what are the benefits of accounting standards. First one is attains uniformity in accounting. In accounting, uniformity has to be attained. Accounting standards, what is accounting standards? It is a Accounting standards are the ruling authority in the world of accounting. It makes sure that the information provided to the potential investors is not misleading in any way. In any way it should not mislead the people. It should represent it. Okay, so attains uniformity. What happens is accounting standards set up a policies or the principles. Every institutions, organization or the companies have to follow these policies or the principles. When they follow these policies or principle, it attains uniformity. Same, it attains uniformity and provides a standard treatment for recording of standard transactions. When you record the transaction, it provides a standard wherein how to record those this financial the transactions in the books of account. So all these companies, all the companies all over India, they will be following the same policies, same principles, so that uniformity will be there in accounting. So that is one of the benefits of accounting standards. Next is improves reliability of financial statement. You can rely much on financial statement. There are financial stakeholders of a company that they rely on financial statement for their information. Many of the stakeholders base their decision on the data provided by these financial statement. Then there are also potential investors who make their investment decision based on such a financial statement. So it is essential these statement presents a true and fair picture of the financial institutions of the company. So reliable means how accurate you are, how clear you are, how the information it is, whether it is clearly understood, whether you can completely believe on this. So you can believe only if certain principles are followed, which is recognized by any of the institutions, which they give the guarantee that all the informations are provided in the financial statement are correct, the profit is correct, the current accounts or the balance sheet of the companies are correct, the assets informations are correct. So we can rely only when they follow the accounting principles and standards. So these accounting standards gives the reliability for the financial statement, that is profit and loss account and balance sheets. Next, prevent frauds and accounting manipulation. If there is any fraud and any manipulation, it can be entitled, it can be reduced, prevented, it can be prevented, because there is no chance of misleading, or there is no chance of being false data is being provided. All the information which is provided in the financial statement will be correct. As they follow the principles, as they follow the policies, it will be laid down a clear cut information about the company. So accounting standards lay down the accounting principles and methodology that all the entities must follow. One outcome of this is that the management of an entity cannot manipulate with the financial data. Following these state standards are not optional, because it is not optional for any of the companies. They have to follow these policies, and they have to follow these standards compulsorily. Then only they can have clear cut information about the financial statement. It even make it harder for them to commit any frauds. If they have, it is very difficult to make a commitment. So these are the three features of it is attaining uniformity, improving reliabilities, and prevent frauds and accounting manipulation. Let us see the remaining features of accounting standards. Assist auditors. See, auditors are the people who will prepare the financial statement of the company. Okay, at the end of the financial year, auditors will be called upon. Auditors will be given the work of auditing the financial statement. How do they check? Audit is nothing but it is checking the account. How do they check? They check the based on the policies. They now which account to be debited, which account to be credited, which accounting method they have followed, which accounting, how they have valued the stock, how they have valued the goodwill. They have their own policies, methods. So accordingly they check whether they follow the same formulas to calculate, whether the amounts are correct. So they can check easily if they have their prescribed standards. So accounting standards will assist the auditor to audit the financial statement very clearly, so that there will not be any fraud and misleading information in the financial accounts of the company. Next is comparability. You can compare your financial statement with the another person's financial statement. Okay, even the comparability become easier in case of this thing, accounting standards, because most all the companies all over the India, they follow the Indian accounting standards. When they follow the Indian accounting standards, it means all the companies follow the same policies and principles. Some of the valuation method may be different, but the basic principles will be the same. So when the basic principle is same, now if you want to compare your performance with that of the another competitor's performance, you will be assisting, you will be preparing the statement and comparing your profit with that of the profit of the others. Okay, so it becomes easier to compare also, and it is easier to rely upon also, because they also follow the same policy, you also follow the same policy. So you can compare, yeah, our profit is less, their profit is more. Why? What is the reason for that? You go to their expenses, you go to their income, you go to their assets, you go to their liabilities and check, and you compare what is the difference in our company. So that comparability portion becomes easier when they follow the same policies. Okay, so that is possible through accounting standards. Next is determining managerial accountability. The accounting standard help measure the performance of the management of the entity. It can help the measure the management's ability to increase profitability, maintain the solvency of the firm. Whether the firm is solvent or insolvent, that solvency can be maintained, and such other important financial duties of the management. All other financial duties of the management can be maintained. Management also must wisely choose their accounting policies. Constant changes in accounting policies lead to confusion. If there is a change in accounting policies regularly, it may lead to confusions. It may lead to a lot of confusions. So confusions can be easily relied, or it can be easily removed through accounting statements or financial statement. Okay, constant change in accounting policy leads to confusion. It may lead to confusion, what to do, what not to do. So this can be easily rectified through financial statement. Let us see the next one, which is limitations of accounting standards. Till now we have studied what are the benefits of accounting standards. One is uniformity, reliability, prevents fraud and accounting manipulation. Then assist auditors, comparability, determine managerial accountability. Now let us see what are the limitations of these accounting standards. First is the difficulty among choosing the alternatives. See, there are various methods and treatment of valuation of certain items in the financial statement. It may be stock, it may be goodwill, it may be shares. Okay, so, depreciation methods. There are different methods of valuing. It is depending upon the company which method they follow. Each method has its own advantage and disadvantage, different methods or different formulas of calculating. Okay, so when they choosing, it's become difficult which one to choose, because it is up to them. Accounting policies and principles will frame policies for these methods. They will not assist you as if which methods to choose. It is up to you which method you are able, or which is beneficial for you. You may choose those methods. So it becomes difficult to compare their information with that of the others. It is very difficult to compare the LIFO method with the FIFO method or weighted average methods. It becomes difficult for comparating the decisions and to take appropriate choice. Next is restricted scope. The scope is restricted. Their limit, their scope is very restricted. I mean, restricted scope means it is not wider, it is limited. To limited to what extent is up to the status or the laws prescribed by them. It may be the framed under the concerned policies, or to the certain extent which is to be done by the law prevailing at that time, that can limit their scopes to provide the best policies of the situation. So what are the best policies they follow, what are the best things they follow? It is prescribed up to them, to the areas which is prescribed towards them. All these will be represented in the financial statement. Okay, so these are the several concepts of financial statement, which the area is prescribed, it will be prescribed to certain extent. Okay, limited scope in the skin, restricted scope, not wider. You don't have much choice. Whatever the law is framed, you have to follow the law. You can't change that law, you cannot change according to your need. Some may be difficult for the companies to follow it, so that kind of difficulties will be faced by the companies. Okay, to the not to the much extent, to the closer extent it may face. So these are the two limitations of accounting standards. Now let us see what are the regulatory bodies to prescribe the accounting standards. There are three regulatory bodies prescribing the accounting standards. That is, they will frame the accounting standards. They are National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards, National Financial Reporting Authority, the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. These are the three accounting role or accounting standards or accounting bodies: National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards, National Financial Reporting Authority, the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. Okay, so let us see one by one what are their roles, what are the objectives, and who are the members of these accounting standards. So I'll see the first one, that is National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards, that is NACAS. National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards. In short, we call it as NACAS. Okay, so the name itself tells you it is an advisory committee. For what does it advise? It gives an advice on accounting standards. So as a corporate professional, one should be equipped with the knowledge of the body set up under the company's law to advise the central government and regulate the issue in regard to the standards of accounting and auditing which a company or a particular class of company must have to adopt. Okay, so certain regulatory bodies we have. So these NACAS body will set up under the company law to give advice to whom? It gives an advice to central government for framing the policies or standards which will help for accounting and auditing. So their role is restricted only to advise the central government as to which standard accounting policies to be followed, and auditing the statement which a company or a particular must have adopt. So they have to adopt this. So they give advice, this should be included, that should be included, which point should be added. So they give an advice to the central government to include those points in their act. NACAS set up under Companies Act 1956 and NFRA set up under Companies Act 2013 are the bodies for the purpose of advisory and regulation of companies with the standards notified in relation to the accounting and auditing. So what are the standard prescribed for accounting and auditing? It should be regulated, or it should be prescribed under the Companies Act. NACAS set up under Companies Act 1956, NFRA set up Companies Act 2013 are the bodies for the purpose of advisory and regulation of companies. Compliance means if there is any complaint or anything such kind of things, with a standard notified in relation to the accounting and auditing. In accounting and auditing, if there is any advisory to be given, it should be given. The NACS will no longer be in action after applicability of Section 132 of the Companies Act of 2013, which deals with the NFRAS. Following information about the mentioned bodies can be basis of distinctions between the, this is nothing but which standards they follow, which under which section it comes. All these will be prescribed, and it is under 2013 Act will deal with the NFRAS. A brief about setup. How it's set up under Companies Act. The Companies Act of 1999, new subsection 3A, 3B and 3C were insisted in section 211, which require that every balance sheet and profit and loss account of the company shall comply with the accounting standards as may be prescribed by the central government in consultation with the National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards. Therefore, section 210A was enacted to constitute an advisory committee to be called National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards. These are the national advisory bodies under accounting standards. It has to be performed. The sections are given here, subsections 3A, 3B, 3C and accounting bodies of 211, 210, all these will be enacted. Now let us see the objectives of accounting NACAS. To advise the central government on the formulation and laying down the accounting policies and accounting standards for adoption by the companies or the class of companies under this act. But at the same time, NACS did not have any regulatory power to regulate the above issues. In simple word, the role of NACS was only restricted to advisory. So what is the role of NACS? NACS role is just to give an advice. Just to give an advice of what? To lay down the accounting policies and accounting standards for the adoption of companies or class of companies under this act. What are the companies and what are the class they adopt under this act should be regulated, should be formulated. The same time, NACS did not have any regulatory power. They don't have any regulatory power, that is, they don't have any control power. They have only the right to give the advice. Advisory can be given. They don't have any regulatory power, the power to control any company. They give an advice to what? Central government to formulate the policies and accounting standards, which can be followed by all the companies in a similar role. Okay, and it does not have any regulatory power. Now let us see the members of NACAS. First one is the chairman, who will be well versed in accountancy, finance, economics and other disciplines. They have to form a chairman. The chairman person should be well versed in these field, finance, economics and similar discipline. Two members of represent chambers of commerce and industry. There should be two members who will be representing the chambers of commerce and industry. One member nominated by ICAI. One member will be there who will be nominated by Indian Institute of Cost and Management Accounting. Then one member nominated chairman of the CBDT constituted under Central Board of Revenue. There will be a CBDT will be there who will be governed, constituted. One member constituted by ICAI, the Chartered Accountant of India. Then one member is nominated by ICAI, Institute of Company Secretary. This is of ICAI, that is Chartered Accountant. This is Company Secretary, okay, of Companies Act. One representative of central government, one representative of RBI, one representative of CA and AG, annual general meeting. Then one representative of SEBI, one person who holds and held an office of professor in accountancy and similar discipline in any of the university. So if they have any disciplines of any of the university professors like that, so he will be a member. So one as a chairman, two members from the Commerce and Chamber Department, then one from IC, Chartered Accountant, and CBTC under Central Board of Revenue Act. One member nominated by Chartered Accountant, one member by Company Secretaryship, one representative of central government, one from the RBI, one from CACAG, and one from SEBI, and another one person from the as a professor in accountancy or any other field in the university. So these 12 members committee will be formed. They are the members of the NACAS. They will give an advice to the central government in the formulation of accounting policies, accounting standards, and adoption of those policies by the different class of the companies. So this is a role of NACAS, and these are the members of NACS. Okay, now we have remaining two. There are three regulatory bodies I have explained you here. One I have explained you now, that is advisory committee. Next we have National Financial Reporting Authority. Then we have Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. Okay, so the remaining two I will explain you in the next recorded video. The first one I have explained you now, that is NACAS. Thank you.